filmmakers introduce themselves, and then you can also ask them questions and interact and as you please. Okay.
Hello, my name is Alexis Saragema. I produced The Sustainable, which was the third film that you guys saw, and I just want to say thank you to you, Nora, and also to the Socially Relevant Film Festival, as well as the other filmmakers for these incredible films. I cried multiple times, but also it gave me a lot of hope for things that you can do, things that I learned watching this, and every time that I rewatch our film also, I learn new things, or I have new thoughts about ways that I can continue to try to help practice what I'm trying to preach, you know, and live my life in a sustainable way and hopefully inspire others to do so as well.
Yeah. Are the stocks not coming?
The stocks are, yeah, thank you. The stocks are here. I'd love them to stand up.
Oh,
Tom and Roberta, they came.
Please come and join the
Oh, yeah, they can come and join the discussion. Yeah, please, you guys want to come and sit? I know Tom wants to.
Yes, the chairs are, what you call it, sustainable. It was amazing, you know. Unfortunately, I live in an apartment on the 16th floor, but I'm thinking, oh, maybe I can put some solar panels on my balcony. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, and well, the thing that the Stocks and I often talk about is just what they did worked for them in their situation with what they had available to them at the time, and also what they wanted to do. But living in a city, as our science advisor, Alex, who is also here today, will tell you that that is actually something that cuts down on your environmental impact tremendously. Absolutely. And there are definitely other ways that you can get green energy and live your life sustainably, but still in a city.
Yeah, I mean, there are various ways of doing that. The other day I was at Home Depot, which is one of my favorite stores to visit. When I feel like changing, I go there, not to Lord & Taylor, I go to Home Depot. And the man was saying to me, if you put all LED bulbs all around, you save so much and so on. I mean, that's one way, because I can't do the panels, so I have to resort to that. So everyone can, in their own little ways, make a difference. So maybe we'll have Beth introduce herself.
My name is Beth Mendelsohn, and I was the producer of the documentary A Single Step, which was the final film that we saw. And it's really lovely for me to be sitting here next to Nanette, because she was responsible for Phumzile being in the film, and so much of the work that the United Nations women are doing is so inspiring to me, and their mission and the sustainability goals have been something, when we were putting this film together, we really looked to you as a model for it and what the agency does. So it's truly a pleasure to be sitting here with you. You know, when you get to make a film about something you're passionate about, it is one of the great fortunes of life. And I was a reporter at the UN conference in Beijing, and I was there when Hillary Clinton uttered those words, and you could hear a pin drop in the room, and I always remembered it. And I had wanted to make a film about leadership, about women leaders, and I thought, as the 20th anniversary of Beijing was coming up last year, I thought this was a good opportunity to tell this story. And at Voice of America, we're very fortunate. We've got 44 language services around the world. And one of my jobs was I ran the Afghan service. So I got to meet women from around the world, and at that time, Afghanistan, you know, women were really emerging. But I think that the women that we meet in this film, every time I watch it, I'm still moved by them. They really are heroes and people who are making such a difference in the world. And I'm so pleased that we were able to bring their story to the light, and that you can see what a difference one person makes. So I think that's the real lesson of this film.
Yes, thank you very much. We don't have much time because we need to clear, and then there's another session starting, which I would like to announce at this point. This is our commercial break. It's a short film called Moving Stories, which I should say, without false modesty, that I wrote, directed, produced, and I'm in it as an actress, followed by a very interesting, much, much more interesting film than the one I made, a documentary which is called Beneath the Olive Tree. It's about the Greek Civil War and the women's role in it, and how they kept diaries which were buried secretly because it was not possible to have them out in the open. And then 40 years later, they were discovered. So this is the film that's coming up after this. But in the meantime, we still have a few more minutes, like maybe 10 minutes, and I would like to open the floor if there are any questions that you would like to ask the filmmakers or Nanette. Yes, over there.
Hi. First of all, I love the sustainable people. My father is always after us to shut the lights off, and he would love you guys. He would love to be with you, with his 5 kids.
I love it.
Do you have a second mic in the back?
I can make, this question is for the woman on the end, Beth, I think?
Beth?
How
Yeah.
did you find, because I was so moved by your documentary, how did you find those women? I mean, I don't, like, where they come from, how were you able to find the women to make the documentary about?
The question is to Beth. How did she find the women in the last documentary that they were interviewed?
We had a partnership with the Asia Broadcasting Union, and they basically sent an announcement out to all of their members to send interesting, profiles of interesting women. So I had that as a basis. I had gone to a dinner in Georgetown, and I heard Katie Myler speaking, and I said, she's a story. And I grabbed her right there. And one of the producers working on the film found the Indian story. He found Aparna, and she was just remarkable. Dr. Kuno is in Washington, is well known in Washington. And I met with her one day, and I thought, well, she was really interesting. I knew what she was doing and had heard about her, and I thought she would make an interesting story, so I kind of found her. And a number of different ways, but I always say that it's like having a dinner party. You find all the right elements to make your dinner work, and I thought that those combination of women just work to be interesting.
Yeah, thank you. And Sally Field?
Vital Voices is an NGO in Washington, and they were very involved in helping guide me with a lot of the lessons and the goals toward Beijing and that and sort of post-Beijing. And Sally Field is on their board, and they really liked our concept. And they told Sally Field about it, and I called her and talked to her about it, and it took her about 20 seconds. She said, yes, I'll do it. And that's how we got it.
Very nice. Any more questions? Yes? No? No more questions? This is your chance. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Well, maybe I'll ask a question to Alexis. How did you find them? How did you find the stars?
So I can't take credit for that. That's all on our director, Justin Cerrone. He grew up in Saratoga, actually close to the Stocks his whole life, and he found an article in an independent newspaper that was about them, and held on to it for a couple years, and then he, I think, started thinking, oh, I want to make an environmental documentary, and he remembered the article, and he was able to get in contact with Tom, and they met at a coffee shop, and they had a really long, and Tom, tell me if I'm wrong about any of this, and they had a really long conversation, and Justin was just really inspired by that, and so he went out with a crew of people, and they did the interviews, and then I met up with Justin maybe a year later, and he had put together a small trailer, and really was just so into what he was doing that I asked if I could become a part of it. And so then we went out and we did more shoots and put together a Kickstarter campaign to help raise some more funds to help finish the film. And it really was a collaborative effort in a lot of ways.
That's really great. Well, let me ask a question to Nanette about the mission of UN Women and cinema, and how can we bring the two together?
I think it works on a number of levels, if you want. First of all, I think cinema and film in general is an incredible and powerful tool and way to reach large audiences. I mean, visuals work much more intuitively on people, you know, than for example, when you read a book, you can hold lectures, but maybe it's much more inspiring to watch the women in Beth's film and see how they are really agents of change and leaders in their respective fields, or how we see the film about the Stocks, you know, and how they have built a house that is sustainable and that is off the grid. So I think it's very, very important that we use film to tell the story, to raise awareness, to show where the issues are. And then, of course, also, I mean, on another level, we want to work with film and the film industry, and we do that as a matter of fact, to see that we can advance gender equality also in film. There's a lot that's happened in recent years, but it's been a long and uphill battle, and somebody who's been at the forefront of this battle in the movie industry has been Geena Davis, who many of you may know from Thelma and Louise, of course. And she has worked for many, many years on changing the way women and girls are depicted in films, and also to see what is the percentage of female to male filmmakers, etc. As a matter of fact, we worked with her to support the first ever global study on the depiction of females in film. So it's really on various levels that cinema and UN Women or any women's rights organization can work together to advance the mission.
Yes. Thank you. That is really very interesting, because that's basically what Socially Relevant Film Festivals tries to do, because we realize that nowadays we live in a world where at any given moment we are at our fingertips or in front of us or something, we are in front of a screen, whether it's our phone, whether it's a computer or some iPad or something, and we have become visual a lot more so than a reading culture. So absolutely, and messages can travel, and I thank the filmmakers for making messages travel through their wonderful films. And thank you very much, Nanette. I know it's CSW week and there is so much going on, and despite that, you took the time to come out and be with us today. So thank you so much, and thank you all for taking the afternoon. This is a very difficult slot, but we have to do something at this slot. So thank you all, and please stay and enjoy the rest of the movies. Thank you.